Hey everybody, so I'm sure you've seen. If you haven't seen, then let us break the news for you. There have been some serious leaks for the next version of Blood Bowl. I mean, I know it was rumored about a year ago, maybe less than that, and then boom. Now it's been leaked. We've got loads of pictures, about 20 pages from what looks like the next rulebook. And there's been so much on all the communities, on all the social medias. And to that end, I've dragged Ian Warhannam Hannam on to talk it through. How you doing, Ian? You okay?
I'm fantastic. Yeah, really interesting times, eh?
Wow, what a year 2020 is. It's just wrecking all kinds of stability.
Yeah.
But I think this could be a pretty positive change. So, guys, in chat, we've got a live stream on the go. This is going to go out on the podcast feed as well. What we're going to do is we're just going to talk through some of the stuff we've seen, so you can kind of get clued up if you aren't already clued in, and get some opinions from the guys who are in chat and from Ian. So, Ian, what do you think the biggest thing to come out of this is?
Oh, wow, where to start, really? I think obviously the kind of main one, as you kind of look at what we've seen, is the split in the agility stat that seems to be suggested, because I think that really opens up a lot of possibilities. And I think we were talking about this a little bit earlier, weren't we? In terms of the fact that now it's possible to have a good thrower who can't necessarily dodge very well, or as we've seen with maybe like the gutter runner, he's amazing at dodging, but actually the throwing's been changed to reflect the kind of player that they want him to be.
Absolutely. And I think that is the biggest thing we've seen so far is, yes, there's an introduction of a new stat. I say new lightly because it kind of harkens back to second edition, I believe, before the blue box we started with, Ian. This goes back even further with the Astrogranite pitch. And there is now agility and PA, which we're going to assume is passing. And the stats for agility, PA, and armor have all changed. Instead of being just standard integers, so agility 3, agility 4, instead of that, it's now agility 3 plus, passing.
Yeah, so it's changed to a target number, basically, hasn't it?
It has changed to a target number, and armor value has changed as well. I actually think we'll start with that. Armor value changing to so halflings are armor 6, they are now armor value 7 plus.
Yeah.
Which I actually think is a really positive change.
Yeah, I mean, functionally it's the same, but exactly actually it's a lot more accessible.
Yeah, for newbies, we've been through this, haven't we? It's armor 7, so it's broken on a 7. No, it's not broken on a 7. It will help new players get into the game, and it doesn't change a thing at all for us old guard in that regard. So that's pretty cool. Sorry, go for it.
No. And I was going to say, having a target on the other stats as well, I think, is really good, because the old strength is the same, but let's say agility 3, you've then got to look up what that actually means.
It takes an extra
back
step
to quite an older way of playing, really, doesn't it?
I was always a fan of the charts in those regards, like the old WSBS charts and things like that, but this takes a whole extra step out, which I think is something that we as Blood Bowl players never had a problem with. But they tried it with Blitzball, and they tried it with one of the other, with Necromunda is probably a great example of this, where it used to be BS4. What does that mean? That means a 3 plus. Now it's agility 4. What does that mean? Well, actually now it's agility 3 plus. So before we carry on, I just want to say hello to some guys in chat. We've got Craig Nash, Black Hawk Tabletop Gaming, Bertski, Stuart Derrick, Jamie D. Egan Searle, Zephyr Baby, Richard Price, and how are you guys all doing today? Thank you very much for joining us. Please do pop questions and things you want us to talk about in the chat, and we'll get to them as well. But I like the AV bit, and I like the change to target numbers instead. It was a bit scary, and I think it's a bit scary because it's also introduced passing. And before we go on, the other big one, and we'll give an example here. So Ian did mention Skaven. So you'd think we've got a Skaven clan rat here. So movement 7, strength 3, agility 3 plus. Okay, they're picking a ball up on a 3 plus normally, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, that's assuming that's being used for picking up. We don't really know that yet, do we?
Well, no, yes, actually, you're right, actually. But they're dodging into the open on a 3 plus.
Yes, which is the same, yeah.
Yeah. Passing 4 plus. So it's an interesting one, and armor value 8+, which makes sense. Everything else has stayed the same. Let's have a look at throwers conversely. So the throwers have gone up in price significantly, which is something we'll come to in a minute. But now they're 7, 3, 3+ for agility, so the same for dodging as a clan rat, but 2+ for passing, which is huge. So back in, well, now, a clan rat would do a quick pass on a 3+, and a thrower would do a quick pass on a 3+. Now, the clan rat is a 4+, and the thrower is a 2+.
That's really interesting, isn't it? Do we know, I don't know if you've got the Skaven roster up there and you can see.
I do indeed.
Have the numbers of the positionals stayed the same?
Yeah. All the rosters are exactly the same.
Okay, that's cool. Because obviously, I guess maybe people are thinking or worrying that perhaps following the kind of what we had with Underworlds, that Games Workshop might be going to more of the you get what you get in the box sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm glad it doesn't look like it's going that way.
No, that's good.
Because, to be fair, the layouts are pretty cool as well. But yeah, so the Gutter Runner is 9-2, 2+ agility, which is what we expect for dodging, 4+ passing. So normally your Gutter Runner, let's say a quick pass, which is the easiest pass, would have been a 2+. Now it's a 4+. So it's taken that positional that was potentially as good, if not better, than the thrower, and now has made it different, which is really interesting.
It's good, yeah. I think it means the thrower can actually shine at what he's meant to do, and not just be, pick up the ball, hand off to a gutter runner, and maybe be a leader for that reroll sort of thing.
It's interesting. We talk about Skaven on this week's podcast, which is coming out on Saturday, which we recorded already, and that is exactly what we were talking through with the thrower. Got a point in chat from Richard Price. He says there's a change to passing, by the way. Quick passes don't give +1. No. So I think the benchmark to say is that all of the PA stats include the bonus for quick pass because it's the easiest it's going to be. So passing has changed. There is no so it's still got the 4 range bands, but it's +0, -1, -2, -3. So I think if you look at the passing stat as if it's already got the bonus for the quick pass, it kind of puts things into perspective a bit. Whereas so the thrower kind of gets an upgrade for passing, and the clan rat gets a downgrade. The blitzers are passing 5+, and which kind of makes sense. The blitzers, they're wearing armor, they're chunkier, they're not designed to throw. The clan rats are not going to be as good at throwing as trained quarterbacks, as trained throwers, which is pretty cool.
I think it is definitely an attempt from kind of what we've seen so far to make the players do what they're meant to do, and so that you can maybe more kind of easily explain to someone, what does this stuff do? Okay, well, this guy hits stuff, but he's not that great at throwing.
Yeah.
This guy's a great thrower, but, he's got this other downside. And a lot of players, sometimes when you're building your team, do kind of merge and cross the lines and
absolutely
overlap, and maybe do make kind of other players redundant. So I think that's
something that we've just kind of lived with, isn't it? Is every player is the same, but some are a little bit better and some are a lot better, i.e. the gutter runner. Now the gutter runner sucks at throwing compared to the thrower. I mean, 2+ with a reroll, assuming that's what pass still does, versus a gutter runner doing a pass at a 4+ is going to change up Skaven dynamics, which is fantastic. And I think my biggest takeaway from this is that it looks like the passing game is about to become a genuine thing. Mark Pilgrim in chat says, for example, why should an AG4 catcher be able to pass as well as an AG4 thrower? It makes perfect sense. Rob Williams Day says, do we know where this leak is from? We don't know where. Well, the rumour is that the leak is from the Chinese manufacturer, the Chinese printers, and that Games Workshop were not expecting this to land, and that they've got an emergency meeting this week to try and figure out what's going on, is some of the rumours that have been going around.
I mean, obviously keep the salt out.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. This could still be an elaborate fakery.
I'd still buy it, if this looks maybe someone's Kickstarter.
Yeah, I'd be very much up for that. Launch. So the first thing you notice is that there's a pass stat and that the numbers are now target numbers. The second is that within that, you create a lot of design space and the players themselves will change ever so slightly, probably in more thematic ways. The next change is that things are now what is it? In increments of 5,000 instead of 10,000. So the thrower has gone up. So the Skaven thrower, because I'm a big Skaven coach, has gone up from 70k to 85k. The gutter runner has gone up from 80k to 85k. It's going to be a bit more crunchy to build the team. I don't think it's going to be unmanageable.
No, I don't think that's a problem at all. You're still not getting options for the players, are you?
Not yet.
It's still just this player is this player is that.
Absolutely.
And it allows more differentiation, because you see a lot of players that are maybe, especially at that like 40, 50k level, where often they don't quite feel equal.
Yeah.
When you look at a lineman from one team compared to.
Well, we can only hope they're going to bring in some lower inducements to balance that.
Yeah. And hopefully, I'm sure the Snotlings will be making use of
those 5K. Absolutely. Maybe that's why they haven't released them yet. So Craig Nash in chat says this is going to change everything. Milton Smith. Hey, Milton. So will this change Dark Elves hugely? We don't know. The stats for Dark Elves haven't been leaked yet. I would be interested to see. It might be that linemen on Dark Elves, for example, only throw on a 4+. Or a 3+.
Because, Elves traditionally... Anyone can throw. Anyone can handle the ball.
We might actually have some differentiation between high elves and dark elves now, other than they get 4 blockers.
And on that, think about the wood elves. Are they going to change up the war dancer so that actually the thrower is more
absolutely
desirable?
That would be exciting. So what we got? Exobeard says, what if this is all a very elaborate hoax? Zephyr says you can't rule it out.
I would applaud them. Honestly, it's brilliant.
If this is some kind of audition for Games Workshop, then absolutely bang on. Stephen Knowles says, no, they've missed some teams, but maybe they wanted the pass stat in there to differentiate the teams. So like the high elves, actually that's true. Damien says, I don't see passing become more used unless Games Workshop increases the reward for successes. In what if you mean completions, possibly. Craig says the 75k thing is going to bring more things you can buy for 15k inducements, maybe magical potions and stuff. Ooh, wouldn't that be lovely? Wouldn't that be very lovely? Okay, so we've covered the passing stat. We've covered the target numbers. We've covered the costs changing. I think the next thing to point out would be the skills. So we've had some guys in chat point this out. There are some new skills that have been leaked and shown off already.
Yes, it's interesting.
But before we even get there, Loner and some of the others now have a number in parentheses, which is
really stupid and things like that, wasn't it?
Oh, it's so cool. Before we even go any further in this, Ian, you've played many of my games designs in the past, and most of them have special rules with a number in the bracket afterwards. Yep. So I'm so happy with this. So what have we got? So for example, the Rat Ogre is now a 4+ agility, 9+ armor. Yeah, that makes sense. Animal Savagery appears to have replaced Wild Animal. That's a no number. It's got Frenzy still. Loner 4+, a Mighty Blow +1, and Prehensile Tail. Which means there could very well be Mighty Blow +2, Mighty Blow +3, which is very much like 2nd edition.
Yeah. And looking at just diverting slightly the injury table, I think maybe this could be a more bloody version.
I think this is going to be more fast-paced and quite possibly, like you said, Ian, a more bloody and crippling version of it. So yeah, we got that. So the Tree Man has got Mighty Blow +1. The Troll, or the Trained Trolls for Goblins, which are 115k now, 4, 5, 5+, 5+, 10+. The stat blocks are going to be more interesting to say, which is quite cool. Always Hungry, Loner 3+, so they can vary that Loner skill, which people immediately pegged for Old World Alliance, Ian.
Yes, yeah.
They said, what if they reduce the Loner on those guys to 2+ to 3+? They can flex that and make it significantly better.
I think that's really nice. And when you look at their goblins, how key the trolls are for that team.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the time, you do want them to be doing the first action, which you normally wouldn't do with a big guy.
Oh, definitely not with the troll anyway.
But with the troll, with the goblins, you sometimes have to kind of create the kind of opening. So
that's how
I think it shows maybe they're looking at the teams a bit more holistically and how they should work. Yep. So yeah, that's a thumbs up, definitely.
I like the idea of that. So another thing about the trolls is they have a skill now called Projectile Vomit. Okay, so there's been some speculation in our Discord, and one of the best suggestions I've seen is that it could be something like a stab skill that they have to roll to hit or something. which is pretty cool. Now that is a very Warhammer Fantasy Battle thing, and in fact an AOS thing, isn't it? They vomit stuff.
Yeah,
that's their
Trolls vomit. That's quite a classic.
Yeah,
classic thing. Yeah,
which is pretty cool. So skills wise, there are some new skills in the leak. There's some like brand new skills. So there's some stuff that's changed. So one of the things that's changed, or is now, bear in mind, like Ian said, this is to be a pinch of salt, but Claw doesn't appear to be. Here we go. Claws. Now, when you make an armor roll against an opposition player that was knocked down as a result of a block action performed by this player, roll of 8+ before applying any modifiers will break the armor regardless of their actual armor value. So that's a roll of 8+ before applying modifiers. So that doesn't stack with Mighty Blow. It just means that a straight 8+ will break their armor regardless, and it's only for a player that was knocked down as a result of the block action being performed by this player. So a bit of a nerf to Claw potentially there. Which I know you said it might be a bit more of a bloody addition, but actually, if we quickly list some of the things that are most contentious about Blood Bowl, we've got Leaping War Dancers, we've got Claw Pylon Mighty Blow, we've got Gutter Runners doing everything. They all seem to be toning it down and expanding passing to make it more of an everyman game, but your everymans are different. It's intriguing. Just got a couple of things in chat here. Says Stephen Loud says, please tell me the Empire models are fake. Mark Pilgrim, very intrigued as to where they're going with vampire players. Yeah. Flick says, not watching this currently, not listening currently, hope to watch it later. Okay, so we'll come back to some of those points in a moment. There's some cool new skills as well. We've got Iron Hard Skin. The Claws skill cannot be used when making an armor roll against this player.
That's interesting. Have we actually seen it on any players yet? I'm just trying to get an example.
You're thinking it might be a star player or something?
Well, I'm just wondering, where we're going to see that. If it's inbuilt like a, what do you call it, a exceptional skill. Or whether
it's a mutation.
Oh, it is a mutation, okay.
It's a mutation skill.
Right, okay.
Intriguing, isn't it?
Yeah, that changes things up, doesn't it?
We got some new passing skills, which is pretty sweet as well. There's Accurate, has changed ever so slightly. When this player performs a quick pass or short pass, they add +1 to their passing ability test. So it doesn't just give a blanket 1-all. Cannoneer does the same thing for long pass or long bomb. So they've kind of split up Accurate and made. I wonder if they're still going to have strong arm. There's Cloudburster, which means you can force your opponent to re-roll interceptions, which I think are probably going to work the same. And there's a really interesting one called Fumblerooski. When this player performs a move or blitz action while in possession of the ball, they may choose to drop the ball. The ball may be placed at any square the player vacates during their movement and does not bounce. No turnover is caused. So your guy can be running along and can drop it on the ball, Bomberman style, and then run off. So someone else can then swoop up and pick it up.
That's really interesting.
Now, we don't know if these skills are designed to be for a specific star player or whether they're going to be, well, actually, if they're mutations and they're like that, these are going to be general skills that people are going to be able to take, I imagine.
I mean, just thinking aloud about what that one will allow is it will mean that if a player does get the ball that doesn't have a great passing stat, it gives them a way of moving the ball off.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can still blitz with your Minotaur and he can drop his ball on the way.
Because you sometimes get that touchback or the interception.
The sweet Minotaur interception. Yeah. Yeah. Question in chat. Pete BB says that and Claw is changed to modifying to 8 AV. That's 8+ AV, Pete, because of the new way armor works or is written. It works the same way. It's just
roll an 8. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 8+, 8+, and then it says before modifiers. So no Mighty Blow on that. So it's kind of interesting to see that. So Claw Mighty Blow might be a little bit less. Yeah, which is interesting. Jason says, has Games Workshop finally confirmed these leaks? Not entirely accurately. We've got there's some rumours that this is genuine. And from the looks of it, it looks very genuine.
Yeah, it looks genuine. And if not, then nothing lost. It was a cool.
It's a heck of an attempt. Now Rob's in chat and he's built his own Spike magazine before. And Rob, you did a very good job, but you didn't do this good a job. Okay, so someone did mention there is some more skill stuff in there. Have a look at the leaks. We're not going to read through them all now, but we will when the set comes out or we get some more like confirmation, I suppose, is what we'll do. We'll do a focused episode and segment on that. Let's go for the models. Ian.
Yes.
What did we see?
So we've got the humans, which are sort of a different take on them. So they look like perhaps they're following the human nobles.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Imperial nobles roster.
There's a picture called the Bonehead Barons, which looks to be on the inside front page of the rulebook.
Yeah, I know these will be divisive, but I really like them. And I think they actually echo some of the older edition humans quite nicely, which have that kind of more, like Renaissance knight kind of feathery look. So
Absolutely.
I like them.
It's interesting. This the 2016 edition humans very much mimicked the first editions of Blood Bowl, where it was sports with spikes. These guys, the Barons, they look like kind of like the third edition Empire team, where there was some feathers, there was some fanciness about them, and it's got the same positionals as the Noble team that was out on the Dugout app. We did talk about that on a podcast once. It was a bit of a strong roster. There was 2 ogres, there were some bodyguards that started with guard, and there was a prince or something that had a load of stuff. Now it looks like there's a thrower on here, but regardless, the models look very cool. They are very stylized, like you said, and might be divisive, but I think they look really well done.
Yeah, I like them. And the big surprise in there is Griff.
Griff with a griffin.
Eagle.
I thought
couldn't fit a whole griffin under that.
Oh yeah, of course, on it with an eagle. I think it would have been a great opportunity to bring in a different star player for a human. I don't know about Griff having an eagle with a ball, but it's got a very fancy shiny hat on. I think
this is a gift to Cities of Sigmar players.
Honestly, Ian, I was going to say the same thing. They are so Warhammer Empire, it hurts.
Yeah. Brilliant.
What do we got in chat? That's a game changer. The claw change for the Heavy Bash, even more nerfed than the piling on. If Heavy Bash gets some passing ability, which it should do, I think. Hopefully for November release, says Flick. Hopefully that would be lovely. But I think the rumours are that this is a very early leak. Like too early, and they were not expecting it. So we may still be months and months and months out, which is very well. To be fair, November is months and months and months out. But if this lands at Christmas, I think that'd be fantastic.
Well, I mean, given how long it's taken to release the intended leaks or the intended reveals, rather.
Yeah. How are them trees doing for you, Ian?
Gave up, May.
Okay, so there is a contents page that's been leaked. It's got all basic stuff, but it has skills and it has traits as well listed. Now I can't see anything in there, but there may be something else that might be just replacing extraordinary skills, but that's something to look out for. And
traits,
traits. There's skills and traits.
Okay, thinking aloud here.
Yeah.
Traits in terms of like Age of Sigmar. You're looking at maybe stuff that affects the whole team. I wonder.
That would be
maybe
very cool.
Maybe you can style your team in a certain way.
Man, I'd be
bonuses or stuff is cheaper or different.
That is completely speculation, but that pretty reasonable. That's pretty reasonable. What we've got in chat, Bretonians. I mentioned building these the other week on stream. Doesn't mean I have to. Does this mean I don't have to kit bash now? Honestly, these guys will work for Bretonians. If Bretonians will ever be around. Craig says, I think it's rumored due to be for Christmas release. That would work pretty tastily. And Matt's BBL in chat. How you doing? David Tahera, if this is the China proofs, then normally you add 3 months to release. That would line up with Christmas, guys. Back to skills and traits is in LRB3. Okay, so I might have to do some digging around to just refresh myself on traits, but I feel like that might just be the extraordinary skills. But the reason I brought this up is because it's got their section called the teams. There's the thing called regional special rules, team special rules, team tiers, and star players. So regional special rules and team special rules on page 104 and 105. So this is going to be a proper sized rule book here, guys. A proper sized rulebook with 8 pages of inducements, 12 pages of league rules and stuff. So it looks like a proper release. I'm just very excited about it. Okay, I'm just flicking through the leaked pages here. Damien says, cool idea. I thought the traits were special abilities like Bonehead. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, kickoff. Kickoff works the same way, but the kickoff table has changed.
Changes, yes.
Okay, so 2 is get the ref, everyone gets a bribe. 3, which would normally be a riot, is now called timeout. If the kicking team's turn marker... Oh, that's a tongue twister. If the kicking team could kick, how much kick would the kick team kick? If its turn marker is on 6, 7 or 8, both coaches move their turn marker back 1 space. Otherwise, both coaches move their turn marker forward 1 space, which I think is slightly better than Riot, isn't it? Because did Riot only work on like the last turn or turn 7 or 8 or something?
I think it was, if it was turn 8, it would go back, but any other case, it would go forward. Is that right?
I think so, yeah. I don't know. I just remember praying for a Riot when it was turn 8 all the time.
Yeah, when you knew you could be the one turner.
Yeah. Solid defense. Okay, so solid defense and where's the other one? Quick snap. Oh, yeah. So both of these are now basically the same as perfect defense and quick snap before, but only D3+3 open players. So one thing that I really like is they've referred to players as marked or open now, which I'm assuming means in base contact or not in base contact.
Yeah, that's good.
But perfect D and quick snap means you can do this, what you can normally do, but only with D3+3 players.
I think this is a really good change.
And like Ian teased at, it's exactly the same for Blitz. The kicking team gets to do stuff with D3+3 open players. One may perform a blitz action and one may perform a throw teammate action. I wonder if throw teammate no longer counts as a pass. That would be a very positive game.
But I'm wondering if it's more just the fact that they wouldn't have the ball. Maybe.
But a man can dream. 7 is now brilliant coaching. And fame is not written on there, which is interesting. And 8 is now changing weather. So changing weather is changed and swapped with brilliant coaching.
Slightly less common.
Yeah, which fine. I don't think it matters. No. Brilliant coaching, giving more rerolls might be interesting. I feel like they're making this version of Blood Bowl more high octane. It looks like they're increasing the ability of throwers to throw, and they're decreasing the ability of murderers to murder, maybe, with Claw being nerfed. It looks like we might have more touchdowns, and more rerolls could help with scoring more touchdowns. Quick snap we've done, blitz we've done, officious ref. This is quite cool. Both coaches roll d6 and add their fan factor, so not fame, fan factor. The coach that rolls the lowest randomly selects one of their players from those on the pitch. In the case of a tie, both coaches select a player. Roll a d6 for the selected player. On a 2+, that player and the referee argue and come to blows. The player is placed prone and becomes stunned on a roll of becomes stunned. On a roll of a 1, he is immediately sent off.
Wow, that's horrendous.
So that has actually replaced throw a rock.
Okay.
Pitch invasion seems to be the same. Randomly selects D3 of their players from among those on the pitch. That becomes quicker as well. So instead of rolling for everybody, you are just rolling for D3.
So they've really softened the effects, which is great, because
it is.
If you've been on the end of a blitz, or you've been on the end of one of those disastrous pitch invasions, it completely takes the legs out from under you.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's softer. It's more reasonable. It takes a little bit of the shine out of it, but this is the kind of thing that you could literally, if you want to use the old kickoff table, you can use it without changing basically anything else. So if you really miss the way old things work because you hate your players in your league, you can still do it. There was cheering fans. So this is something that someone in the chat just flagged up. Said both coaches roll a d6 and add the number of cheerleaders on their list. The coach with the highest total may immediately roll once on the prayers to nuffle table. In the case of a tie, neither coach gets a prayer. Right, so prayers to Nuffle is now a thing. I can't. That's not been leaked, but that is definitely something to look at, or something to look out for. That could be anything.
Some sort of boons, or could even be.
It might work.
Special play cards, or
exactly, and that's what I was going to say. Okay, so there's a lot of detail on these pages, and we haven't had a chance to look through everything. Matt's BBL says, "What's the claw nerf look like?" It's 8+ on 2d6 without modifiers. Zeph says it seems like this version is going to be a little bit more detailed. It could be good, but if done wrong, it could be very bad. Yeah, it feels like they've taken stuff away but introduced new stuff. So could be. I think it's on par. I think the lack of having to use a chart to check your skills will be better for new players. I know that when Tiff and I played Sevens, trying to do the maths of trying to figure out what the skill was and then apply the modifiers was just quite a lot for a board gamer rather than a war gamer, and this will probably help with that. LJ Brooker says, "These sound great, Exmobeard. I refer you to my pledge of whatever." Absolutely. Sai says, "Hello," I think.
Hello.
Stuart says, "I can't wait." And Sai says, "Seems like the example to injuries is already in need of getting fixed for AV bust." Okay, let's talk injuries now, Ian. Yes. Can you remember what the deal was with injuries?
So this is the D16.
Yeah,
is that right?
It is indeed. So armor rolls, injury table. They've actually helpfully put a separate one for stunty players, which is the same as it is now. It's just written down separately. Yeah, which is very useful. Okay, so casualty rolls. On a D16, like Ian says, 1 to 6 is badly hurt. Nothing else happens. 7 to 9 is miss next game. 10 to 12 is niggling injury and miss next game. 13 to 14 is lasting injury. So characteristic reduction and miss next game. And 15 to 16 is dead. What do you think of that then, Ian?
Yeah, I mean, it's you're getting to use your D16.
Yeah, everyone's scrambling around to try and find theirs.
Put it.
I actually took mine out to replace it with a football-shaped dice as well.
Yeah, not got an issue with that. I think so. It seems like injuries more common, but death
is
less common.
Death is now 1 in 8 rather than 1 in 6, and lasting injury is 1 in 8 rather than 1 in 6. So you're less likely to get a characteristic. You're less likely to die, and you're less likely to get a characteristic thingy. What's it?
Yeah,
So interesting. It's interesting. It's going to be marginally better for you, which I think is good. And where they've spread it out as well. So if you do suffer a lasting injury, 1 to 2 is minus armor, 3 is movement, 4 is PA, so passing, 5 is agility, and 6 is a dislocated shoulder, which is a -1 strength.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess in some way as well, having that extra stat perhaps makes it less likely that you'll lose the actual stat that you need on that player. And if players are becoming a bit more specialized, then if your blitzer, let's say your Skaven blitzer, loses passing, well, old game losing agility would have been horrendous.
He's gone from the team.
But losing passing, fine.
Yeah, you can find a way. Something else that's useful.
Doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Matt's BBL says, "Sorry, extra stat." Yes, Matt's BBL, they have cut agility in half and replaced it with agility and with passing. We're not entirely sure what they're for, but we are surmising that agility is for dodging and passing is essentially ball handling. It'll be interesting to see if catching is done with agility or passing. I'm assuming agility is dodge and catch, and passing is pass and pick up. But that is completely me making things up. So we will see. Right, guys in chat, what else have we missed out? Ian, what else have we missed out?
One interesting thing, just been discussing with some guys in another chat, a Gloomspy chat actually randomly, but looking at the cover of the book.
Yes.
So obviously Games Workshop are quite well known at the moment for only sort of having pictures or artwork of models. So looking at that orc, is that potentially a nod to a plastic Varag to go with the plastic griff.
I think that looks. It's got the shoulder pad and the tusks of a AOS brute. If you look at that, but let's just zoom in on the miniatures real quick. If you look at them, the human. Right, so they've released a picture of the starter kit. The red models are humans. They're the new ones with the feathers and the fancy bits. There's also an ogre. Okay, so the starter kit comes with your big guy as well. But if you zoom in, there is a troll. And I think those orcs are different orc models. They look bigger.
I've been trying to zoom in on that and kind of get an idea of it.
They look bigger. So I think we are going to see a new orc team as well. And whether it's standard orcs or whether it's savage orcs, because even way, what you're saying is right. If the art generally for Games Workshop reflects the models. We've seen the models of the fancy feathery humans, and I'm hoping that these new orc models will represent the orc on the front cover as well, because he's absolutely chonk.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'm sure though. Like, look. Okay, have you got the picture up there now?
Not on the screen because I don't want. Well, it's kind of on the screen, but not supposed to.
Well, there's definitely a few poses which do look familiar.
The Blitz are running.
Yeah, pose. So the guy nearest.
On the line. Yeah, definitely.
I think. And it looks like a black orc right in the centre to me. With his arm up.
Yeah, the chat agrees. Craig says, I can see them being savage orcs. Zeph says, thinking about it, give the lever passing skills. Savage orcs would be ace. I completely agree with that.
I think we will at some point get savage orcs because the Nobles team was on the app, like we said.
Absolutely.
And savage orcs was also one of those teams. So I don't see.
Well, let's start the speculation immediately. There was also a Dwarf Slayer list and a Clan Pestilence list as well. So let's see if they land. I'd be pretty excited for that. We do want new teams. I am, and I'm going to put it out there immediately, I am surprised the rules are changing before all the teams have got to.
Yes,
And they did say they wanted to do all the teams before they started introducing new ones. It's a really long release schedule, and I think they want to make the game theirs again without waiting 6 years to release teams that are already out there available for purchase. Okay, Matt's BBL's picked up on that. He says, the horribly broken human noble team. Yeah, hopefully they've toned it down a little bit and people don't start with guard, but you never know. And you know what? Wood elves are broken, and we've been playing with them for 4,000 years. So it'll be fine. There is a new picture which has been teased, which has the classic double skull from the old second edition pitch as well. It looks like this whole thing has just taken a load of stuff from second edition.
It is, yeah.
As inspiration.
Definitely a lot of that going on.
Which is pretty sweet. So we've seen the kickoff table. A couple of other things. There are some pages in German and French. And some of the rules that some of the guys have said they've translated is along the lines of basically that you can retire a player for the whole season. For some reason, I'm not sure what that is or why you would do that. And I can't remember the other thing. We'll have a look at that in a second.
Maybe there's some way of recovering if injuries are a bit more prolific.
Yeah, it wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so there with the pass action, there is measure range and declare target square, test for accuracy, then passing interference to make the interception. So they've changed it around. So you throw to make the pass before you intercept. That just makes a lot of sense.
That always seemed a bit odd to us.
Yep. And they've introduced a new, an extra resolution. So there's an accurate pass, an inaccurate pass, a wildly inaccurate pass, and a fumbled pass. So accurate is if it's a natural 6, or if the roll is passed, it's accurate, it lands on the person. And inaccurate, it scatters from the target square before landing. Wildly inaccurate, I can't quite see, but it looks like deviate from the square occupied by the player performing the pass action. And fumbled pass, there's a chance something's gone horribly wrong. And there's some other rules I can't quite see. But it says if the player has a PA of dash, the pass is automatically fumbled. So we're not sure. There are some players that do have pass of a dash. We don't know if they can even try and make a pass. So zombies, and I think one of the big guys, the rat ogre, has got a pass of dash. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough if you don't even get the chance.
I imagine if it's a dash where it's not a number, you can't even improve that through leveling up.
Yeah, well, that's a very Age of Sigmar thing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, 40k
Was it?
that for like saves, I think, because they had one unit that had the Poxbringers or Poxwalkers had a save of 7+.
Oh, that's it.
Whereas some things have a save of dash.
Oh, we all thought that was a typo.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but no, it just means you literally can't improve it in any way.
It looks like there's a slight change to throw teammate as well.
I wonder. I bet they'll speed it up.
Yeah. So it's called a throw teammate action. Oh, cannot be interfered with. Let's see if we can find out if it replaces the pass.
That's your dream.
Yeah, I know. It would be so good. Therefore, if the throw is not fumbled, the throw itself is now resolved. The thrown player. Oh, I see. It doesn't say whether or not you can still pass. Let's hope. But there is a picture of the new tree that still hasn't been released yet. Sadness. At least they're planning on having the tree released. Okay, guys in chat, is there anything we haven't covered so far that we've seen from the leaks? Because if not, let's have some opinions. Substitutions, apothecaries, seen that. Foul actions, fouling doesn't seem to have changed. There's some German stuff that my German is not that good. There's some French bits. My French is definitely not that good. Yeah, we've covered the skills. We've covered that. Yes, actually, teams. So teams now have tiers and they have special rules. So goblins are tier 3 and special rules are Badlands Brawl, Bribery and Corruption, and Underworld Challenge. And then halfling teams, Halfling Thimble Cup, Old World Classic. And the reason that comes up is because if you look at the Halfling MasterChef entry, it says 300k, 100k for teams with the Halfling Thimble Cup special rule. So it looks like those special rules kind of work as keywords as well.
Yeah, it'll help make them a bit more evergreen if you put the rules in the teams, if that makes sense. So if they were to release a pro Halfling team, for example.
Oh, that's a dream for you, isn't it, Ian?
Yeah, you could then give them Halfling Thimble Cup instead of then having to go back and rewriting the rules for the Halfling MasterChef.
That makes a lot of sense. Skaven only have Underworld Challenge, so I wonder if that's got something to do with those regional cups we saw on the contents page.
Yeah, they might get a bonus at certain stadiums or.
David in chat says shadowing is 1 dice plus your move minus the other move, and on a 6+ or a natural 6 it works. Hey, that actually does help with shadowing. I think that makes shadowing a little bit better.
Well, it helps Chameleon Skink. Getting on.
Everyone loves the Chameleon Skink. The penalty for stalling, Tom Heather. I heard someone talk about that, but I didn't see much about it. Oh, Pro has changed to 3+. That's pretty good.
That's really good.
That makes it a little bit better, doesn't it? I haven't seen the penalty for stalling. I'll have to look into that and we'll get back to you.
That's interesting. I wonder how they'll do that, because that seems really hard to kind of write in or manage.
Yeah, I mean, I could see you introducing a rule where the crowd gets impatient. I can see that. But
maybe if you've got the ball, you have to move or something.
Yeah, I just don't know how you would manage that from a rule. Very long legs grants +2 to interceptions. Tiers are great. Yes, they are. I like that. Page 72. It seems you can get a random normal skill, and it will only cost you 10k on the TV. Oh, that's pretty cool.
That's fun.
And that's something that it kind of gives you an option, doesn't it? I think that might be that's the section that's in German. One of the things that is very blurry is +1 strength.
Is that 70 it look like?
It looks like something like 70, which is absolutely massive.
It is.
I don't know. Maybe that's just because it's blurry. I mean, strength is probably the most important skill. I don't know. Agility is probably better and helps you win the game. But
wow. Which one? Which type of agility?
True. Right. What do we got? There was one other thing which I think was the passing. I just wanted to see if there's anything about catching. Not that I can see, which is a shame because I would love to know what you are catching with. Just going to check in chat. Seems to talk about buying skills like Necromunda, so there'll be specific experience cost for skills. Damien, thank you for joining us. Zeph says part of the game. Throwable players can now be thrown from prone and stunned states. That's pretty sweet.
That's great. So you can actually use them as projectiles.
Tom Heather says it was the German page. It suggested there'd be a dice roll if someone chose to not to stall, and a potential penalty. That's exciting. Can throw a rock at the ball carrier whenever he's not moved forward. His MA unimpeded or scored when possible. Amazing. The New Orc team is called Thunder Valley Greenskins. Let's hope that is some kind of Savage Orc team, just because that would be absolutely awesome.
Thunder Greenskins, yeah.
That's Ian's fluff check going on there in his head. He's like, where is Thunder Valley? What's going on with this?
Got nothing on that one.
Right, let's have some opinions. Ian, we haven't seen the rulebook confirmed. We've only seen some of the rules, and some of them certainly not in our own language. But what are your initial impressions on the new edition?
Yeah, I think my initial reaction, I was a bit surprised, quite taken aback. Had a few concerns because, Blood Bowl was kind of, I was saying, a bit like my comfort game. We all kind of know it inside out. It's really easy. There's no gotchas. There's no, anything like that. It's all kind of just good fun. But actually, having delved in a bit more, the changes all look like really good quality of life improvements. So I will happily play this game.
I like the look of it myself. Honestly, there was quite an emotional reaction, and it was much better than I was expecting. Normally, when Games Workshop whisper a change, the world catches fire. But this stuff hit, and it seemed that there was a remarkable amount of positivity along the lines of, this is new. This is actually different. This could be really fun. I am personally excited that there is a potential that passing could be better, because I don't know, more touchdowns add more excitement to the game. And I mean, I'm saying that as a Skaven coach, obviously, but just more, is it more exciting to have a 1-0 game or a 2-1 game or a 3-2 game, right? It's more exciting with more touchdowns, and more touchdowns is more better, right? It gets that opportunity to stay in the game, because if every team is in the potential to score a 2-turn or 3-turn touchdown, then it's the 2-1 grind will get somewhat lessened, and I think that could lead to a more action-packed game, a quicker game, because things are going to go wrong, but there's more stuff happening, which leads to a more exciting story, which should lead to a better player experience. And the introduction of this split agility and passing, it opens up a massive amount of design space, which we've already seen. We already talked about Skaven, but the fact that gutter runners can't throw nearly as well as throwers now means that the throwers are going to be throwing. That's a very good thing. And troll vomit is great fun.
Yeah, looking forward to finding out what some of these are.
Yeah. And Bomb's got Mighty Blow as well, which I think is very exciting.
The Bomb has?
Yeah.
Did you say?
Yeah, I know. I hadn't seen the rules for the Wizards in there, so I hope they haven't nerfed the Wizards, because we need Wizards. Wizards are great. Ernadar says, the Troll still got Loner and the only stunty big guy with Loner. They got Really Stupid as well, though. Did I see that they had Really Stupid? I think they might still have Really Stupid. Let's have a quick look. Gosh, there's so many pages, and honestly, it was so surprising. Always Hungry, Really Stupid. Yeah, they've got Really Stupid as well. So Trolls are still not the number one big guy, Ben Bloodtithe.
Now they'll be able to get Pro on a 3.
Yeah,
they can overcome that.
Pro on a 3, Loner on a 3. They can do more stuff, even if it's only ever so slightly. Richard Price says, I'm looking forward to the new edition, but I'm worried about some characters being pigeonholed, e.g. Blitzers being rubbish at throwing.
I quite like that change, personally, because I do think you do sometimes end up with redundant players that aren't doing what they're meant to be doing.
I mean, throwers on the Skaven team are classic for that. If you get them, you generally speaking either give them leader to get that reroll, or you give them block and just use them as another blitzer.
Things like the Orcs as well. Classically there's that, do I take the thrower? Because actually I can just really easily make a blitzer into a ball carrier.
Sure hands, you're there.
Yeah.
And he comes with block and armor 9. Yeah, absolutely.
So it will give some players a chance, I think.
And just to give some ideas of some other players, Skeleton Lineman, 40k, 5, 3, 4 plus dodge, 6 plus pass, 8 plus armor. Zombies, 4 plus dodge, dash pass, so zombies won't be passing, which is rubbish for my all zombie league that I'm playing in. Ghouls are 3 plus agility, 4 plus passing. Whites, 3 plus, 5 plus.
That team's ball handling sounds appalling now.
Yeah, that's not going to be good for them.
From some Edge 3 in that team down to
Edge 2 really, Edge 2 and Edge 1 for the passing and play. Whites, not so great. Mummies agility 5 plus, that's the same. And ghouls have gone up 5k and mummies have gone up 5k as well. There's some juggling of prices. Oh my goodness me, Skaven rerolls have got 10k cheaper. That's cool. You know what? This feels a bit like the General's Handbook, Ian.
It does, yeah. I think we'll see winners and losers, and I don't think that will necessarily be a case of it being unfair, kind of from an objective point of view. But I can imagine if you've got your team and you've been doing your thing with them for years and years,
absolutely,
and they work differently, then that is going to be quite hard to swallow.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. I just hope they don't make us wait too long now, because this is popped out, and then if we have to wait another 2 months, it's definitely shaken some things up. And I think that's something else worth mentioning before we do realize is this sucks for Fumble, because that's adding an extra stat is probably going to change up a lot of how that works. And we've just rediscovered Fumble, and this is going to really separate it from what Blood Bowl is going to become.
Yes, yeah, because I think they've basically got to choose, haven't they, to reset literally everything.
Yeah,
all teams are going to go.
Yeah,
and we were discussing earlier about teams in a league at the moment.
Oh, absolutely.
The fact that it's going to be a complete headache to try and port them over or kind of work out. I
think, like you said, there's going to be winners and there's going to be losers. And definitely, I mean, I've got a gutter runner with kickoff return. If I'm only passing with that guy on a 4+, that is going to hurt a little bit.
But then, that. How would you even translate that? Because let's say you've got your gutter with AG5.
Yeah.
How do you decide which stat up he actually got?
Absolutely.
With the split pass.
That's going to be interesting. We'll come up with a way to balance that out as a league.
I mean, I'm erring more on the just start again, to be honest. But that's where it's going to be difficult, because some people will feel strongly that they've built their team.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to carry on with it, but if it's a different rule set, then should you? I don't know.
We thought we had problems with the Underworld team changing list. This is this is massively different. Ernadar says Fumble.
Thoughts on that, though.
Fumble says we'll still have these rules done quicker than cyanide. Sorry, and I missed that last bit. What did you say?
So yeah, I'd love to hear people's thoughts on initial reactions to how their league might handle it.
Oh, it's going to be quite interesting. Andy Cook says, am I right in thinking the Goblin Hooligan has gained Dirty Player? We will just quickly check that for a second. Hooligan, 65k, 6'2", 3+, 6+, 8+, Dirty Player +1.
I knew I was right to make one.
Yeah, Disturbing Presence, Dodge, Right Stuff, Stunty. So he doesn't have Fan Favourite anymore.
Favourite, yeah.
Honestly, I think Fame is gone, guys. I think Fame is gone, because you've lost Fan Favourite on the Hooligan, and it's not mentioned in the kickoff table.
Yeah, really interesting.
Ooh, so that could be tricky. The important thing is the Doom Diver still has swoop, so it's all going to be fine with an agility of 3+ as well.
Perfect.
Okay, I think we've covered everything that we've seen now. Was not expecting that, and I'm really hoping that this doesn't in any way delay the Snotlings. Although there's a lot of trepidation about the Snotlings now, as in. What if they are designed just for the old version? It doesn't seem silly to release Snotlings and then release a new version 3 months later, but I don't know what to tell you. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's tricky because presumably they've been made, and you've got the same with the Underworld that's just come out. Sorry, not the Underworld, the Old World Alliance, where actually you've got printed rules in the box, for example.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fine. It might hurt the sales of the Spike magazine if there even is one, which I'm assuming they're going to be. But Craig says there could be a blanket drop. They could just land at the same time. And Johan says Fame SPP bribes could still be in Death Zone. Yeah, maybe. This just in, they got rid of Snotlings. Zephyr, don't even joke about
that. No.
Craig says Snotlings, Tree Man, new game all in one go. Oof, that'd be a very.
Versus Tree Man.
Very, very busy. Dude, Snotling's winning that. 10 out of 10. Yeah. And it doesn't bode well, possibly, for Bretonnians. Everyone's thinking the Bretonnians are gone now if the human nobles are out there. But I think Bretonnians, Slan, and Khorne were never gonna make it in their current version.
No, I don't think Games Workshop would ever touch that.
It's tough. Right. I think we've said it all, Ian.
Yeah, sounds good.
Fantastic. So we're going to wrap it up here. Guys, if you're listening on the podcast is out on Saturday. It's going to be Skaven. We're not going to be talking about this news because we already recorded. So please listen in order and ignore the bit where I moan about not having any Blood Bowl news. You're going to listen to that episode and you're going to blame this all on me. But hey, it's a cool book. There's some cool rules and it looks like there's some very cool miniatures coming. So I'm going to call it there. Ian, thanks very much for joining me.
Absolute pleasure.
Guys in chat, thanks ever so much for joining in as well. And we will keep you updated. But toodaloo for now.
See you later.